You'll never get away with terrorizing this town. Not while it's under the protection of the Mechanist.
You and your pathetic tin cans are no match for my army.
The citizens of this town have nothing to fear. The Mechanist is here to protect them.
Ha! We'll see about that. Attack, my ant soldiers. Destroy this fool and his tin toys.
Go forth, my steadfast creation. Show humanity's true power.
Face it, Mechanist. Humans and their toys are done for. They killed themselves off with their petty wars.
Humans may be weak sometimes, but our creations are strong and pure. Something you'll never be.
Fool! Humanity's creations were the seeds of their undoing. And now, the world will belong to the AntAgonizer.
Are you all right? You aren't hurt, are you? I'd like to apologize for the rude welcome. Those two have been a bit of a problem lately. Name's Rowe. Uncle Rowe to most. Welcome to Canterbury Commons. For what that's worth. The, Mechanist and the AntAgonizer. That's just what they call themselves. It's ridiculous, I know. A while ago, we were attacked by the AntAgonizer, that woman with the ants, obviously. The Mechanist saved the town with his robots. Well, that was all well and good, but I swear their fights are getting bigger, and it's been driving off the merchants. They simply won't leave. Oh, that's terrific. I knew you'd help out. Knew it in my gut, and it's never steered me wrong on a deal yet. Find where the AntAgonizer and the Mechanist hide and convince them to stop or otherwise end their hostility, and you'll earn 200 caps. You only need to stop one of them, really. Nowadays, I think they only stay in Canterbury to fight each other. You drive a hard bargain, friend. But seeing how we haven't been able to solve the problem ourselves, fine. You've got a deal. But I expect results. Oh, and please do try to use some discretion. We already have plenty of would-be heroes starting wars in our streets. We don't need another. If it'll help, I'm glad to. One day there was a crazy woman leading a bunch of ants into town. She said humanity was dead and the ants would inherit the earth, stuff like that. Well, that gave Dom plenty of time to line up a shot or two on the ants. She ran away, but every once in a while she'd stage an attack again. She wasn't much of a threat then. In fact, she was sort of entertaining at first. Gave everyone in town something to talk about. But when the Mechanists started fighting her, things got bad. Ants are easy to shoot, but add robots with lasers, it got real nasty. The Mechanist used to be our town mechanic, Scott Walensky. Quiet guy, but plenty fierce with a wrench and some solder. Guy used to take care of a robot that protected the town until it got torn up in one of the AntAgonizer's lame little attacks. I guess he took it personal because he made a mechanical suit and called himself the Mechanist, said he would lead a robot army to fight her. Now he doesn't even respond to his name, and his robot army is more dangerous to the town than the ants ever were. My nephew Derek might know more about them. I swear it's all I can do to keep him from running into the fight whenever they come out. He might know more about where you can find them, but don't encourage the poor boy. He's had enough close calls. I most heartily agree. Good luck with those two troublemakers.
Just stumbled into town? You sure picked a fine day for it, with the crazies out there. Here, have a drink on the house. Welcome to Canterbury. I'm Joe Porter. I make sure folks around here can get a meal when they need it. We do our best. Well, Dom and Roe do their best. I just make sure they've got enough food so they can keep on doing their best. You ever find yourself starving around here, drop by Dot's Diner. We don't charge much, but don't expect any more freebies. You mean apart from having cheesy names? Actually, I think I might know something useful. One of the traders told me she sounded like a girl he used to know. Girl's whole family was wiped out by ants. not long before she showed up here. But they never found any trace of her body. Said her name was Tanya Kristoff. That might just be our little AntAgonizer. Later.
Hello. What do you want? Can't you see I'm busy? This is Canterbury Commons, where dirty old lechers get rid of everything they picked up on the road. Unless it's not treatable, that is. And I'm Machete. Dom and me make sure nobody starts anything stupid in town. Keep that in mind, okay? I know Dom doesn't want me just killing them. He and the Mechanist used to be friends or something. All I know is, next time they come to town, I bet I could solve the whole problem with one bullet for each of them. Bye.
Hey, newcomer to town, huh? Well, I'm Dominic Delasadro, and welcome to Canterbury Commons. Try to ignore the idiots in the costumes. Popular activities around town are trading, listening to row yap, and burying thieves in unmarked graves. Of course, we ran out of thieves to bury long ago. Saw to it myself. Might be a dead art, unless you're planning on stealing anything. When I can find time for it, sure. In the gardening business, it's the personal touches that make all the difference. Anyway, welcome to town. Don't cause trouble. Threats of violent justice, so on, so forth. You look like you know the drill. Bro hired you to put a stop to their shit, did he? Guess he finally listened when I told him I haven't got the time to do it myself. It's easy enough to hide inside when those two square off, but they're only getting worse about it all. I don't know who she is other than a crazy with an ant suit and a chip on her shoulder for humanity. She wasn't much trouble by herself, really. Her attacks were a joke, but at least stories of her kept some of the raiders at bay. If it helps, she was always attacking from the warrens up north. Maybe you can find her ant nest in there. You mean Scott Walensky? I refuse to call him by that ridiculous name just because his head got a screw loose. He used to be a damn good friend, and not just because he fixed my guns up. Now he spends all his time up in that bot shop, just thinking about fighting that AntAgonizer. Hardly even recognizes his own name anymore. If you could just make either one of them stop fighting, it'd do the trick. You probably wouldn't have to worry about the other one. I can't imagine Scott attacking the town with his robots, and that AntAgonizer girl was never much more than a sideshow freak by herself. Ro may prefer that you're thorough, but all I care about is that you get the job done, one way or the other. Fine by me. What do you want to know about them? Later.
Yes?
Hello. Oh man, did you see it? Did you see it? The Antagonizer was all like, "Fear me!" But the Mechanist was all, "Stop, evildoer!" You sound like Uncle Ro. He never lets me watch when they fight. They're just about the only exciting thing that ever happens in this town. You think they're neat too, huh? It's not like they ever hurt anyone. Well, not like really badly hurt or anything. Dom and Machete make sure everyone gets inside when they fight like that. Though sometimes I sneak out to watch. The traders and the slavers and the raiders, they don't like the Antagonizer or the Mechanist. They say they're bad for business. But that's dumb. The ants and the robots rip them to shreds. That shows them. You mean the superheroes? Yeah, I'll try to watch all of their fights. I don't know much about her except she really, really doesn't like people. That's kinda cool. I mean, sometimes people are jerks. I think her lair is somewhere in the caves to the north of the city. I've seen her ants down there once in a while. Joe Porter said he found out something about her, but my uncle won't let him tell me. He says, don't encourage the poor boy. I knew the Mechanist back when he was just a normal hero. He used to be called Scott. Then he fixed up stuff around town. But one day, the Antagonizer killed his favorite robot, and I told him he ought to fight back against her like a real superhero. Ever since then, he's been up on his forge, on the back of the robot shop on the hill, working to protect us all from the Antagonizer. No way! Don't stop them, they're awesome! Unless, maybe you're going to be a superhero too. You could be called Superhumongous and fight them with an army of super mutants! That's easy. The Antagonizer's suit makes her super agile, but I guess her ants are pretty weak on their own. Just watch out for her royal guard. The Mechanist robots are a lot tougher, and his suit makes him super smart. I don't think he has any weaknesses. Well, maybe one. Since he's a good guy, he's not as ruthless as the Antagonizer. Like, he'd never hurt an innocent like me, if he could help it. Well, okay. Say hi to the Mechanist for me.